Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. As I'm sure you can tell by the very obvious title, today we're going to be doing a build that is featuring the new Laundry Day Stuff Pack, and I chose to do kind of a family style home because I feel like that's what you think of when you think laundry. I don't know if that's just me, but that's what I think of. I also chose to make kind of the style of the house a little bit more like upscale, I guess it would be. So I know that in the Laundry Day Stuff Pack, a lot of the items are quite rustic, but I chose to do kind of like chic rustic or something. I'm not like an actual like designer. I don't know what the like technical terms for it are, but I chose to do more like fancy rustic, if that makes sense. I really like the way that the house turned out in the end, and obviously you'll see some more of the details kind of as we go along in the build, and obviously at the end with the screenshots as well. So since this part of the build is obviously typically pretty boring, I figured I'd tell a funny story while we're waiting for like the interesting furnishing and stuff to come up. So I've mentioned before that I work at a beauty retail store, and at the store that I work at, we have like an in-store credit card, you know, like they have it like Macy's and that kind of stuff. And there's like certain prompts that'll come up where it'll offer it to the customer and ask them if they want to accept the offer for the in-store credit card. And there's perks, whatever. And the other day, this woman, she's probably about 50, the prompt came up and she accepted the offer. And a lot of the time people will accept the offer without knowing it's a credit card. They think that they just like are signing up for a rewards card. And then halfway through when I ask them for their social security, they'll say, oh, I don't want to give that out, you know, which is understandable because they don't know that it's a credit card. So then they'll cancel the app and move on. But this customer, she knew it was a credit card. She knew it was because it says it, and I mentioned it like 3 times, and she said, okay, yes. And as the prompt is going, it asks them to enter, you know, like simple information like their birthday, their zip code, phone number, that kind of stuff. And then eventually it asks for the social security. And she said that she didn't want to give that out. And I said, it's because it's a credit card. And she was like, okay, I guess. And then later, it asks what your annual income is, and it just asks for an estimate. And she was like, oh, I don't want to give that. And I was like, it's because it's a credit card. And she was like, well, that's just simply too much information. I don't want to give it out. So I was like, okay, if you don't want to give out that information, you're welcome to cancel the application. So she canceled the app. And then as she was leaving, she was like, I don't mean to get all pissy here, but that's just way too much information. And I just like didn't respond. And in my head, I was like, they ask you for your social security number because you have to be, I believe you have to be a citizen, at least in the United States, in order to receive a credit card. And more importantly, like let's say your name is John Smith, there's like 70 million John Smiths in the world. So they ask, obviously, in order to ensure that you're the John Smith that is connected to your credit, you know. And then when she was upset about the annual income, like there's 2 reasons. Number 1, you have to have income in order to get a credit card. That's the whole point. Number 2, that's how they determine like what your APR rate and stuff is. So it's just like this lady had no idea what she was talking about, and I kind of mentioned something about it, like just kind of nicely, and she was like, well, that's just way too much information for a credit card. And I was like, clearly you don't know what a credit card is, because that's normal information. Like if you were to apply to any credit card, that's what they're going to ask. At least that's my understanding. But anyway, she was just like, she was an interesting person, and I thought it was pretty funny because, I don't know, people lecture me like all day at work about random stuff, and usually half the time they don't know what in the world they're talking about, and in this case I'm pretty sure that was the case. Anyway, now I'm going to stop complaining about my life for a few minutes and talk about the hard work that I put into this build. So as you can see here, we're obviously working on the dining room, and I have to say, I freaking love this new dining room table. This is the first circular dining room table that we have received in the game. I know that we had that like picnic table, not a picnic table, but it was like an outdoor table that we received in, I think, the outdoor stuff pack, but it has like an umbrella over the top of it, so you obviously can't put it inside because you can't put an umbrella inside a house. That's like bad luck or something. But this is the first like indoor circular table that we've gotten that's like to eat off of, and I am pumped. I think it looks so cool. It seats quite a bit of people or Sims or whatever, and I am pumped about this dining room table. I really like the way that this room came out, and I feel like it looks like rustic but like classy or something, and yeah, I really love this dining room table. So going off of that, I really ended up liking pretty much all of the items from the Laundry Day stuff pack. I'm trying to think if there's something I didn't like. I don't know. I think I liked pretty much all of it. Some of it's a little bit more stylized that you can kind of only put in certain environments, obviously. Like the sinks, you know, are pretty industrial and kind of really, really rustic. So that wouldn't necessarily work in like a really modern build or whatever. But I really like the way that they look in like those specific builds. I tried to feature the items that we got from the stuff pack, obviously, because this is a video that's featuring them. Obviously, I just like repeated myself. The only room that's really not featuring the Laundry Day stuff pack a lot is the kitchen, because obviously we didn't really get a lot of kitchen items because it was about laundry, you know? So yeah, the dining room table has that nice new what's it called? Table. And I guess the living room doesn't really either. The only thing I wasn't super crazy about from the stuff pack, now that I think about it, is are those chairs that we got. I like the singular one that kind of looks like a beanbag that has like the woven pattern, I guess. I can't speak. I'm trying to record this all in one take so I don't sound so like robotic, because previously when I had recorded videos I kind of stop myself every time I start to make a mistake, and I feel like it makes me sound really robotic and not myself. So I'm trying to not stop the video or stop the recording and fix my mistakes so much, because I feel like it makes me sound like a normal person, and it also makes me sound like myself a little bit more. So if I'm making more mistakes speaking, that's probably why. Hopefully I'll get better at this as I go. Anyway, I didn't like those woven chairs that much. I feel like they look okay in the singular form because there isn't quite as much of that like woven texture. I also feel like you could use them as kind of outdoor furniture, but I personally feel like that's not really something that you would put in a living room. Like I don't know, it doesn't fit to me. Maybe other people will disagree, but to me, it wasn't quite my favorite. But obviously, that being said, I still tried to feature kind of like the style and the colors from the Laundry Day stuff pack in like the kitchen and the living room that don't use quite as many items, so that it still kind of matches with the house and it still blends in and still looks like a rustic family home or whatever. And you know what item from the stuff pack that I also really, really like is those, are those like that cluster of flower pots. I really like them. I think that they're super cute. I like the way that they look. I like how you can kind of just fit them into places and they look just really nice. And I feel like you could use them in a lot of different builds because they're like stylized, but they're not too stylized. And I really just like those. I think that they look really nice, and that's something that I feel like I would like to have in my own house, personally. Anyway, we are now moving on to the laundry room, or I guess you could also call it a mud room. Where I live, we don't really have mud rooms because we don't really have a lot of mud. There's not a ton of rain or like snow in the place that I live, so having a room that's dedicated to like cleaning supplies and laundry and that kind of stuff wouldn't really make sense. Also, land is super expensive where I live, so a lot of those kind of like quote unquote like extra kind of rooms, there's not really a lot of those just because there's just not a lot of land here. So where I live, I think most people's like washing machine and dryers, if they even have one, are in their garages. Mine is kind of like right off of the kitchen, but most of my friends and most of the people that I know, their laundry rooms or kind of stuff tend to be more in their garages rather than having like that extra room. But I feel like in this build that's featured around the Laundry Day stuff pack, like you have to have a separate laundry room. Like it's inevitable. Everybody expected it. To not do it would just be like blasphemy at this point. Anyway, before we move on, can we all just appreciate how beautiful that lighting with the window looks? That looks so realistic and gorgeous. I just can't believe that they're able to do that in a game. I don't know. I don't know if anyone else cares as much as I do, but I just seriously think that that makes it look so realistic and just gorgeous, and I am so very impressed by the Sims team that they're able to do that. I don't really know a lot about computers, honestly. I'm kind of inept in that department, so the fact that people are able to create that in not reality is just insane to me. I just really love the way that it looks, and I'm really impressed by them. Anyway, as we're building this living room, or furnishing the living room, I guess, I actually have another thing to complain about because I haven't complained about enough things in this video. So if you can't tell by my voice or by my like avatar thing on my channel, I'm a girl, and in case you couldn't tell, and I have to be, in the next like few weeks or months, I have to go to kind of two different nice events, and I have to buy a dress for these events because these are kind of reoccurring events. They're like banquets basically, and I wore the same dress to both of those from the last year, and I just can't bring myself to wear the same dress 2 years in a row to the same event. And it's like a plain black dress that like I don't even really look that good in. And so I've convinced myself that I need to get a new dress because I don't have any other dresses that I can wear. And okay, so here's the backstory. I wouldn't really say, I'm not like afraid of girly things. Like I am very into makeup, I'm very into hair, but clothes is like really not my thing. Not that I'm not into fashion, but I, like many other girls and women across the world, I think, have a tendency to feel very insecure about the way that I look in a lot of clothes and like my body and all that. And it's not, I mean, I have a fairly like slim figure, but to me, I just feel really uncomfortable in a lot of things. And so the thought of having to go buy a dress is like kind of giving me a little bit of anxiety, honestly. It's a little bit irrational, but I just really don't like dresses on me personally. I have pretty short legs. Like I'm a fairly short person in general, but my legs are just like really short, and I have a really long body. And so when I wear dresses, I tend to look a little bit like a troll. I look a lot like a troll when I wear dresses. And so I'm really not looking forward to having to go pick out a new dress, because every time I have to buy a dress, I end up hating myself. Not full on hating myself, but I just end up, you know, not leaving the store in a great mood. And so, yeah, I probably will have to go within the next few weeks because I have those events coming up, and I know that at least one of them I will have to speak in front of the crowd. So I really am nervous about picking out a dress for that because, number one, I want to obviously feel confident in it. I don't want to feel like I look sorry. I don't want to feel like I look like a troll because that's not going to make me feel good about myself. And also, it's like for a school event, and I'm going to be speaking sorry. I'm going to be speaking in front of people, so I don't want to wear anything that's too low cut or short or anything. So if any girls or women are out there watching right now and you have like spectacular advice about how to pick out dresses, first of all, or how to not have awful self-confidence when it comes to clothing, send it my way because I'm really not looking forward to it. And yeah, it's like one of those things that just really gives me anxiety because I know that I'm going to leave the store not happy. And because my boyfriend is such an amazing person, he will always agree to go shopping with me because, I don't know, he always just makes me feel a little bit better about myself. He is a really nice person, and I feel a little embarrassed talking about him because I know that he's going to watch this video because, again, he is such a nice person. But anyway, I should probably stop complaining about my life problems again because I keep doing that. But yeah, if you have any advice for me, I would really greatly appreciate it. I need it so I don't hate myself within the next few weeks. Anyway, now that I'm done talking and complaining about myself, we are moving on to the master bedroom, which is honestly my favorite room in the entire house. I really, really love the way that this room came out. I honestly almost never use that bed from Outdoor Retreat, I think it is, because there's very few builds that it's obviously going to work in because it has literal like timber and wood in it, which is just kind of weird. It looks like vines almost. But in this build, I felt like it looked perfect, especially because we obviously didn't get a bed because, again, it's laundry day. But I feel like the color scheme of this whole room, it just looks so almost like Western, but in a good way. And I was just really a fan of it. I love the new rug that we got with this stuff pack, and all of the colors just fit in beautifully, and I put in that fireplace. And honestly, at this point, if I could just redo my room and have like no spending limit, that's probably how I would redo my room right now, because I just think it looks so pretty and comfortable and just warm and all that. So now we are moving on to one of the other bedrooms. This one I chose to make kind of like a nursery because it is so close to the master bedroom and it's a little bit small, I think. I didn't really pick if this was going to be like a girl or a boy. That being said, I know that like pink isn't really a girl's color and blue isn't really a boy's color, like it doesn't really matter. But like, you know what I mean, everybody still considers pink to be a little bit more of a girl's room and blue to be more of a boy's room. But I feel like I made it a pretty neutral bedroom. I guess it might lean a little bit more towards the traditionally boy aesthetic because it has like the dinosaurs and stuff, but obviously they're infants, they don't care what color you put in their room. So yeah, that was the first bedroom. Now we're moving on to this second bedroom. This you could either do as like a guest bedroom if you'd like, or I kind of made it maybe like a teen boy room just because it has like that blue again, and it's definitely a little bit more of like an older bedroom. It's not really for a kid. It has a computer and doesn't really have any toys or anything. So yeah, I would say either teen boy or a guest bedroom. And I know I kind of already mentioned it, but the rug that we got from this stuff pack I think is so pretty. I love that it's just kind of like somewhat neutral tones, but kind of warm, and it has the blue too, and it just looks super comfy and just lovely to put your toes on. Anyway, now we are moving on to the last bedroom. I kind of designed this to be maybe like a twin girls room, maybe. Obviously you can make it whatever you want. I never really make my bedrooms that detailed because you can obviously later change them to however you want and however your Sims, whatever Sims you have there, you know. But I thought that since sorry, I'm like having a coughing fit. Okay, I grabbed some water. I should now be okay. No more coughing fit for me, hopefully. Anyway, yeah, so we have maybe the twin girls room. I feel like if you changed the wallpaper, you could make it look much more kind of masculine or boy-like, just because later you'll see that the wallpaper that I chose is a little bit more on the traditionally feminine side. And then the curtains too, I made kind of that nice peachy color. Not totally sure I like the way that those look with the other colors, but I feel like with the rug it kind of fits in. Oh, also, before I forget, I'm sure if you are into The Sims at all and you follow anything on social media, you might have seen the teaser that included, obviously, the Laundry Day stuff pack release date, and then it also included that sneak peek for the kind of like adventure looking game pack maybe. So if you have any estimations about what that might be, please let me know, because I am always up for a new stuff pack, a game pack, or expansion pack. I am always up for it. I think they're super fun and I always love getting new content. Also, obviously we are at the screenshots now, which means that the video is just about to end after the screenshots, obviously. So if you have any comments, concerns, questions, video ideas, advice about my dress dilemma, please leave them in the comment section down below. I would love to hear from you. I think that's about it for this video, and obviously I hope I get to see you next time, and I hope that you have a nice day. Bye.